the fight that most people were hyped up to see ever since we actually saw the matchups for this tournament. Kano Agito versus Julius Reynolds, I think that's his surname. The monster versus the fifth fang of Metsudo is finally here. And look, I'm gonna put my cards on the table. Right now, off the gate, my bets are on Agito. I think it is the safest bet, but if he does lose, which I think is unlikely, he would have lost 2 times in a row, which to me would seem like a massive fall off. But we will see what happens by the end of this fight. So let's just get into the chapter review and breakdown. And the chapter title for this chapter is actually pretty straightforward. It is literally Agito versus Julius. And it starts off with both fighters just coming into the ring with pretty cool panels of both Julius and Agito just walking up to each other. And this is a very interesting matchup because we haven't really seen this type of matchup before, mainly because fighters like Julius are just so rare. In Purgatory they did probably have, like, let's say Toa versus Lo Long, which is something we see in the flashback where Lo Long one-shots Toa and wins. But that is neither here nor there. We then get some information on D4, which is apparently the 3rd largest underground promotion in Japan, which was started a long as time ago, like in 1960, and in 1990 it seems like the original owners just couldn't maintain it, and now it is in the hands of Toyota, who managed to basically have the whole underground fighting promotion just blow up. And Toyota, man, look, this man, he is an entrepreneur, I will say that. This man can take anything and turn it to gold. I have mad respect for him because right now the Kengan Association is on top. Purgatory, a promotion that is his, is number 2, and number 3 is a promotion that he has. It's insane. But it doesn't even end there. It doesn't even end there. Garo, another fighting promotion, which is the one that of course Gao Lang is fighting for or is the champion of, is also owned by Toyota. So you have Gao Lang being the champion of Garo, owned by Toyota. You have Lo Long fighting for Purgatory, owned by Toyota. Then you have Julius fighting for D4, which is also owned by Toyota. Like, what is going on here? Toyota is OP. But let's just get on to the fight itself, or at least the stare down before the fight, where Julius says all he's here to do is to prove that he is the strongest, and Agito, he respects that about Julius as well. And oh my god, I don't know what Alyssa is wearing. That outfit, it had me like stop. It had me literally, it just stopped me in my tracks. I was like, what the hell? Like, Alyssa doesn't want us to see Agito versus Julius. Alyssa wants us to watch her the entire time. But while he's instructing Agito and Julius to take their stances, Julius prepares his special move, which I'm going to just use the last word of this move, and that is Steinbroker. At least I hope that's how you say it. And this is the technique that Julius used against Toa towards the end of the fight that basically one-shot Toa. And so it seems like things are going to be intense straight off the bat. And when Alyssa gives the call to fight, Julius goes in with no delay at all. And as he goes to the attack, and it seems like it somewhat connects a little bit to Agito's shoulder. But something very interesting happens, and that is it seems as though the attack slips and we have a water effect for it. And this is confusing for Yamashita and probably Julius at this point, but Julius just goes for another hit, and again a similar thing happens where it seems like it's connecting, but then all of a sudden Agito is slipping away. And it is at this point that Julius is a bit surprised, because at first you would have thought, yeah, it's probably a fluke. But now that he's done this twice, there is actually probably a method to the badness that he is seeing. And I don't know who is actually saying it's the formless style here. I'm guessing it's one of the announcers. But Yamashita points out that no, that isn't actually the formless style, and we can sort of tell the difference because of how Agito's personality sort of changes, or at least his face, when he's using the formless style. And since this is more of the serious look or the martial arts type of look, then I'm guessing this is a martial arts technique that he is using here. And so it seems like Agito is going to evolve once again in that short span of time ever since he had his loss to Jorada. He has evolved to basically the next level at this point, with Julius and Agito getting some distance from one another, and Julius saying that Agito is a worthy adversary, and Agito is responding that he's going to show him a world he has never known. And so that's the chapter. Pretty brief, at least that's how it felt. That's how much I enjoyed this chapter, despite the fact that it was pretty long. I think it was 19 pages. What's going to be the big mystery of this fight is going to be what Agito is currently using right now, and my guess is, considering he lost to Jorada, he probably tried to develop a martial arts that would make him basically immune to getting swung by Jorada. What was very interesting about that fight was that Jorada can literally throw you by just touching you, using the friction from basically his fingertips and your body. He can literally just do that. And so, Jorada touching you is basically your worst case scenario. Most people probably know this because of course we had Jorada versus Gao Lang, but that was one of the biggest stumbling blocks for Agito. And so I think it's no wonder that at this point he's developed a technique where he is basically untouchable. At first I thought it was formless plus water kata. That makes a lot of sense and that may end up being true. But I think there might be a bit more than that, or maybe it's less formless, I guess. Because again, judging by the face and the personality he typically has when he's using formless, he seems a lot more cool, he seems a lot more rational here. And I do wonder, is this technique limited to only, let's say, defensive maneuvers and avoiding attacks? Because so far he has not attacked Julius with this technique. He has only ever evaded from being attacked. Now, something interesting we do know is that Julius's technique does have a sort of advantage against something like, I think it's redirection? Because Toa had something like that. I think it was redirection or formless or some shenanigans like that. Toa had some crazy stuff like that, and Julius was able to overcome that. I'll probably have to go back and read that fight for the next chapter review and breakdown, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is that it can't be as simple as formless, I think. There's no way it's just formless. And so that's something that'll be interesting to see, if that is all that Agito has up his sleeve, or if there's actually more in the bag. And also, because of this new buff, could Agito actually be better than Jorada now? That's another question that I have. But for now, that is the review. Don't forget to like and sub, and until next time, take it easy.